"Fourscore and 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal." Abraham Lincoln spoke these words 150 years ago at his dedication of the cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Lincoln was our 16th president, the great emancipator and savior of our Union. I've always been fascinated by Abraham Lincoln and always admired his determination to self-educate and improve his life, and also in the strength that he showed in holding on to his position on slavery, even in the face of immense opposition as he struggled as president to save the Union. As a boy, Lincoln grew up doing chores on the family farm, but he knew even then that he wanted something better. He was a thinker, not a laborer. And in her book, Abraham Lincoln the Orator, Penetrating the Lincoln Legend, Lois J. Einhorn, Ph.D., a professor in the English department at Indiana University, said that for Lincoln, communication was a key component of education. And she describes how even as a boy, he would get up on stumps and practice his speaking to the other boys in the neighborhood, even making the cornfields and pumpkins his audience. As he got older, then he would practice his speeches on platforms in stores, at the mills, at polling places, and even at socials and in barn raisings, anywhere that he can gain experience as a speaker. Congressman from Nebraska and later Secretary of State William Jennings Bryan had stated that Lincoln's power as a public speaker was the foundation of his success. His elevation to the presidency would have been impossible without his oratory. Lincoln had tried his hand at politics when he first started out as a lawyer, but without yielding much success, he soon lost interest and just decided to focus more on his law practice. But then, as the fight over the expansion of slavery kicked up in the Western Territories in 1853, this caught Lincoln's attention. For Lincoln, it was a moral issue of high concern, and with that, he re-entered politics in 1854. Unfortunately, he lost the Senate race that year, but then stayed into politics, and in 1858, during the race for the Senate, he entered into a series of debates known now as the Lincoln-Douglas debates. These debates focused totally on the issue of slavery, and Lincoln's position was if we maintained slavery where it was but did not allow it to expand anywhere into the territories, then the institution itself would soon become extinct. Again, he lost the race for the Senate seat, but the national exposure that he had received within the debates opened the stage for him to get the nomination for president in 1860. He was elected in November of 1860 and was the first Republican president to be elected. By the time of his inauguration in March of 1861, 7 states had already seceded from the Union. In an attempt to soothe the South and again confirm what his position was on the issue of slavery, in his inauguration speech, Lincoln said, "I have no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. I believe I have no lawful right to do so, and I have no inclination to do so." Congress had passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which guaranteed slavery in the states from federal interference. So for Lincoln, this would have been unlawful for him to interfere in any way, and he maintained his position that slavery where it already existed would be left alone, but he did not want it to spread anywhere into the Western Territories. And for Lincoln, his number one priority was keeping the Union together. He had said in a response to Horace Greeley, the editor of the Tribune, "My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and is not either to save or to destroy slavery." And again, through immense opposition and pressure, Lincoln held on to this, and held off in announcing the proclamation or the Emancipation Proclamation. When he finally did make that announcement, it was as a military strategy to end the war. Lincoln didn't feel it in this manner that he was breaking the law, but this was more wages of war. After the war was won, when the Congress assembled in December of 1863, in his message he had a proclamation offering full pardon to those that were implicated in the rebellion as long as they would take an oath of loyalty to the Constitution and swear to support the Emancipation Proclamation together with all acts of Congress pertaining to slaves. And Lincoln wanted to allow the nation to heal and wanted to achieve lasting peace. So he did so without any threat should the southern states decide not to accept his plan. So the next time that you take out a $5 bill to pay for something, take a minute to look at the image on the bill and remember what this man did for us, and that because of Lincoln today, we have the privilege of living in the United States. Thank you.